welcome back to the ultimate comeback consecution. That's the series that we're doing right now. This is part 2. I promise you, if you've not seen part 1, you will have no inkling as to what's going on. Are they gone? Alright, good. Those clowns will never see it coming. They'll watch a 50-minute video about Invincible and not know that they could have just watched this one. Those stupid clowns. Oh man, I can't wait to honk their little noses when they come back. Please don't call me a hypocrite. There's definitely not a picture of me as a clown somewhere out there on the internet. Changing the subject. Welcome back to part 2. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this awful shithole called hell. I'm just kidding. You're on YouTube. I'd argue that hell and YouTube are quite synonymous, but I digress. So, Ultimate Comeback Consecution. Today's episode is going to be focused on Attack on Titan. This is a series that I finished while I was on break. It's really good. Love the hell out of it. But before we do that, I'm going to roll the intro. And this is a very special intro, actually, because I'm not the one who made it. That's right. A friend of mine made it. His name is Trashtan W. I'll put a a great image of him somewhere out there on the internet on screen now. This is Trashtan W. Great YouTuber, great on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, please. He's awesome. So yeah, let's roll the intro.
Start off with the olive oil.
Olive oil.
Out the olive.
Oh, I love you, honey. And I love you! Fucking woman. Bitch. Don't you hate women? I sure do. I'm just kidding. Please don't take away my Twitter account, please. I don't hate women. I just hate this woman in specific. I'm just kidding. I love you, honey. I love you too. I'm going to violently fuck her tonight. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No mercy. I mean, look at this face. Doesn't this make you want to... sex? It makes me want to sex. I love sex. Anyway. So, ignoring my relationship with my Nicolas Cage pillow, let's talk about my, initial impression, I guess, before I started reading it, and my history with it. So, my history with it, I was in 7th grade, I was about 13, maybe 14 years old, and I was getting into mangas and comics, and, I was in need of, like, a manga or comic that just was, I guess you could say, like, edgy enough, or something. I don't know. I wouldn't call AOT edgy, which is probably why I wasn't super into it back then. But anyway, I read like 6 volumes and got bored and stopped reading it for like 3 years straight. 3 years later, jump into like... No, actually 2 years later, jump into 9th grade. I'm living the life. 9th grade was probably my favorite year of high school so far, but I digress. My friend started reading it, and he was like, "Soup, this is fucking awesome. Why did you stop reading this?" And I was like, "I don't know, man, I just got bored." And then, like, he kept reading. He got further and further into it until he was fully caught up. He was on, like, volume 33. And, like, he was like, "Soup, you have to read this. You are actually sleeping on this. You actual clown. Read the manga!" He didn't actually yell at me. But, you know, I like to exaggerate to make it funny, because yelling is hilarious. And I was like, fine, I'll read it. And I bought the first Colossal Edition and pulled out my first 5 volumes. Not the first Colossal Edition, second Colossal Edition. And I reread my first 5 volumes, and it was amazing. I fell in love with it instantly. Bought the rest of the manga, a few years later, or like a year or two later. No, a year later, because I have all the manga now. And yeah, I love it. It's awesome. I'm pretty excited to review it. I finished it back in November, a month after it finished. There we go. That's the word. A month after it finished in the English version, I finished it, and now I'm really excited to talk about it. Going into my initial impression before rereading it, and my impression now, especially now, I think it's a tad bit overrated, if not very overrated. But I'm not gonna get super into detail about that until in the cons of the manga, and I guess the anime, because the anime and the manga are the same thing basically. Except one has subtitles and the other doesn't. I had a very hard time reading this because I didn't know what to read, because there are no subtitles. I don't know what to read. And it's not an audiobook either. It's like a physical object that doesn't make noise unless you start punching it violently. Is this what old people like? Ew. Anyway, transition. Fuck! Again! I hit my... Fucking shoot me, I swear. There we go. So, we're gonna talk about the pros. We're gonna go in the order that I have on my list here. Good story. I like the story. I think it's fairly straightforward and easy to understand until the politics kick in. Then it gets a little harder to understand. But I like a story that I have to think about, you know? I don't mind a simplistic story. I think simplistic stories are kings in the comic book and manga world sometimes. We'll use, I don't know, hack and slash. Hack and slash has a fairly easy to understand story, and I like that a lot. Hack and slash is one of my favorite comics ever written, but this isn't hack and slash. This is funny Eren Yeager comic. Manga, if you're pretentious. So I like the story a lot. What else? Oh, the characters. The characters, beautiful. Love the characters. Even the more annoying characters I couldn't really bring myself to dislike. Because I'm fairly forgiving when it comes to an annoying character. Okay, here's the thing. I don't mind annoying characters unless they are overly exaggerated annoying type deal. I'd give an example, but I can't. I have several examples, but I can't think of any other names, so I'm not going to name the examples. Go fuck yourself. Please don't fuck yourself. Please. It's not right. It's not right to tell people to do that. Instead, you tell them to jump off a bridge while wearing dynamite. That is lit. That's a more appropriate thing to say to people. I have standards when it comes to my insults. Anyway, Attack on Titan did this thing where, they introduced characters that I thought I was going to hate, and I did end up hating them for a while, and then they kind of, flipped it on its head and was like, oh, well, they're actually not that bad, and they started to develop them, and I like it when stuff when mangas and comics and whatever does that. I love it. I don't know why, I've always been a sucker for that. Marlowe, I fucking hated that dude. He annoyed the shit out of me. Later in the story, I almost cried when he died, I'm not gonna lie. I about cried. I love that. I love him. Levi, holy shit, Levi's awesome. Easily the most overrated character, but I still like him a lot. He's not my favorite. He's overrated as hell. But I like him, because they developed him. And, he seemed like kind of an asshole at the beginning. And he was a massive asshole at the beginning. But then towards the end, I kind of got to forgive him, because, he was developed. And he became more important and all that jazz. So I like that Attack on Titan did that with their characters. The set of rules for the Titans is fairly well explained. I feel like some of the Titans should have need a little more explaining, maybe. Especially the subjects of Ymir. Actually, no, I'll complain about that, in the cons. The politics. Normally, I dislike it when politics are in mangas and comics. And that's because when I read a fiction book, I like to focus on fiction. you know? I don't want to think about, like, real-world problems that I genuinely have to worry about when I'm in the real world. But I'm not in the real world when I'm reading a fiction book. So I really don't want to hear about real-life politics. That's kind of why I dislike crossover so much. Because they used analogies for real-world politics, and I dislike that a lot. And I don't care if I agree or disagree with said World War III, everybody, probably soon, and I'm gonna cause it. That wasn't a joke. I have plans to nuke Norway and start World War III. Hope you guys don't mind. Long story short, I hate crossover because they used real-world politics to some extent. I don't know. I'll explain that if I ever do a video on it. The politics in Attack on Titan are not real, though. So, I like that a lot. And, like, the politics are also fairly well explained and, like, entertaining. And, like, the politics also play into the story sometimes to where, like, you kind of question if the characters are on the right side or not. I thought I was at 4:20. Like, 4 minutes and 20 seconds in the segment. Excuse me. So I like how that's written. And, of course, easily the best pro on the manga list is Big Monkey. Now, you might be wondering, Soup, what the fuck is a big monkey? Well, I'll tell you. It is a massive ape. That's right. There is a huge-ass monkey in the manga and in the anime. I'll put a picture of him right here. This is Big Monkey. Keep him on screen for the rest of this segment. Also called Beast Titan. Big Monkey is the ghost. Not ghost. He's not a fucking ghost. He almost died, though. Which made me sad. But hey. Big Monkey is awesome. Zeke is one of my favorite characters. I love him. Big Monkey, all the way. Actually the GOAT. Kind of wish we got more out of him at the end. But they kind of made up for that in the last 4 volumes. More or less. No, not in the last 4 volumes. What was it, like? I want to say in like 26 to 30 maybe? I don't know. Long story short, I like Zeke in the Season 4 arc, as I like to call it. Big Monkey's awesome. Am I going to explain why I call him that? No. But I'm going to give credit to my friend. I'm not going to say his name because I didn't get permission to say his name. But my friend calls him that. And I thought, wow, that is hilarious. Thank you for that. And so now I only call him Big Monkey. In case you're wondering, yes, it's Archimedes from the Comic-Con video. Shout out to you, Archimedes. You know who you are, dude. You know who you are. Shout out to you. Anyway, on to the cons. So, the cons. As much as I love Attack on Titan, there are a few cons that I have to mention. I don't have much of a bone to pick with Attack on Titan, as you know, I read volumes 1 through 34, and I loved every second of it. But you know, there's no such thing as perfect. The pacing. The pacing is my biggest problem with it, so I decided to do it first and just get the one that I had the most to say about out of the way. So, the pacing is terrible, actually. The pacing is the worst thing I've ever seen in any manga that I've ever read. Basically, it moves way too fast to the point where it's concerning. Like, people have straight up just... How do you say it? Stopped, like, watching the anime because the anime was moving way too fast. I'd argue that the anime actually slowed down the pacing a considerable amount. But, you know, to give you a perspective of how, like, wacky and insane the pacing is, between the first 10 volumes, there are 2 plot twists. That is the first 10 volumes. There's a new arc almost every 10 volumes, not every 10 volumes, every 5 volumes too, which is peculiar, isn't it? That they start and finish an arc within 5 volumes. And it only like messes with you if you think about it. Except for the season 4 arc, I would technically consider that to be the longest arc, even though the season 4 arc is technically made up of multiple arcs. I would still consider it one big arc because they seem to have like one goal in mind. Well, not really. They don't really seem to have any linear goal in mind in the season 4 arc. Until the last 4 volumes of the series. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. The length of the story. I would consider the pacing and the length of the story to be synonymous, and I think the length at which Isayama. I think the length that Isayama did the story at was probably way too short, because the story probably could have been told in like 45, maybe 50 volumes, if they slowed down the pacing. So, yeah. I mean, at the same time, I don't mind it being short. It's only 34 volumes, which is a lot if you don't look at other mangas, which have literally run for 70 volumes. JoJo actually has almost 130 volumes. I think about 130 actually, because when I first checked it, JoJolion wasn't done. So I'm pretty sure it's about 130 volumes in total. One Piece has like 90 something. And I'm sure there's other crazy ass mangas that are like way longer than that. But anyway, I don't mind a short story if it doesn't affect the pacing. And in Attack on Titan's case, the shortness of the story did actually affect the pacing. Maybe, actually, I don't know. And I thought Demon Slayer had like nutty ass pacing. Nah. Well, actually, I think they go pretty hand in hand with their terrible pacing. Good stories, terrible pacing. Next complaint, the fan base. This isn't exactly a complaint about the manga. This is more so just the experience, I guess. This is more of a complaint about the experience. The fan base is interesting. I have experienced this actually. Be careful when talking to an Attack on Titan fan if you haven't finished it, because they will talk your ear off to the point where they end up spoiling it pretty majorly. And Attack on Titan has like a lot of major shit happen. So if you get a spoiler, it's pretty much game over. For the most part anyway. So like, we use JoJo and Attack on Titan as examples. So JoJo, if you get a JoJo spoiler, it's not a big deal. For 2 reasons. One, like, there's not really any major thing you can spoil about JoJo. Well, actually, there are several major things. But, when you hear a JoJo spoiler, it doesn't make fucking sense. Like, especially out of context. Like, here's an example. A possibly homosexual vampire gains the ability to stop time, and he has to be stopped by an edgy 17-year-old and his grandfather. Does that make any fucking sense? No, especially not out of context. A serial killer with a hand fetish gains the ability to make a bomb so explosive that it will send you back in time. That doesn't make any sense. While it is a spoiler, you could probably just ignore it until you get the context. Then you'll go like, oh, that was a pretty major thing. But like with Attack on Titan, I don't think you really need context for the spoilers. So, yeah, that's why I would consider an Attack on Titan spoiler a pretty big deal, you know? What else? Oh, the Colossal Editions. What is a Colossal Edition, I hear you asking? Let me show you. Here we go. I picked the earliest one so it wouldn't be a spoiler, even though I told you major story elements. But this is a review, so I have an excuse to do it. Go fuck yourself. This is a colossal edition. When it comes to mangas and comic books, basically when it comes to mangas and comic books, sometimes the companies like to smash a bunch of books into one. That's pretty major. That's pretty big deal, actually, because it saves space. Sometimes the multiple in one books are cheaper than getting the individual books. It's pretty awesome. Plus, you get some, maybe if, it depends on the series, though. Maybe you'll get some extra content. Maybe the covers look way cooler or something like that. And these are the Colossal Editions. This is the Attack on Titan equivalent of that. Now, Attack on Titan decided to not be like any other normal manga and make like 3-in-1s or 2-in-1s. They decided to do 5-in-1s, which is pretty fucking awesome. And honestly, I think this is the best way to experience the series, unless you're a collector. Because, like, if you're a collector, you care about the quality of the books, and these things are fragile as shit. Now, granted, I own more fragile books, but these are pretty up there when it comes to the fragility, because, like, I don't know, these are just really fragile, and I dislike that. I'm not going to dwell on that too much, because I try not to complain about the physical quality of the books, though. While I do care, because I want my shelves to look presentable, you know, they aren't a big deal. But all in all, if you ignore the fragility, or you don't care about how fragile your books are, then these are the 100% best way to experience the series. Because that's like a pretty major chunk all in one fucking book for just $50, or like $30 or $40, depending on who you bought it from. I got like both Colossal Editions 3 and 4 are like $50, but I got both of them in total for $50, as opposed to $100. Because the prices are always going down for some reason. I have no idea. I'm not complaining, though, because I saved a shit ton of money doing that. But, whatever. And, of course, the ending. I didn't hate the ending. I just thought they could have done more with it, you know? Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I love the ending. It's really good. But at the same time, I don't like the ending. Because the ending is kind of boring. And simple. It's very boring and simple in comparison to what everything you just read was. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because, like, we'll pull JoJo into this, even though it's an unfair comparison. Because, you know, JoJo's my favorite manga/anime, so of course I have a bias. But, like, we'll use JoJo, because it's my favorite example for anything. JoJo is, like, really complex and interesting for the entire arc, for all 8 parts. And then, like, every single part just goes out with a bang. And it's awesome. Attack on Titan kind of did that, but at the same time not. The last few pages were just kind of boring. And, you know, it kind of just left you on a mad note. I'm being very indescriptive because I kind of want you to experience it for yourself. And see what I mean? I don't know. As much as I like it, I kind of wish they did more with it. Oh yeah, it's a little overrated. I would consider Attack on Titan slightly overrated because the story and pacing are terrible. Well, no, the story's good, but the pacing is ass. Absolute sucks ass. I hate the pacing so much. I don't mind a fast-paced story if it doesn't make me want to, like, take breaks in between because it's moving so fast. Because, like, I don't know, it's moving so fast that you actually have to take breaks to process what you just read. And for that exact and very specific reason, I would consider it slightly overrated. And it's getting constant praise, but nobody talks about the pacing, and I hate that. That's pretty much all I had for my cons. Now I'm going to be talking about the anime. Transition. I haven't seen it. So, overall, good stuff. I would definitely suggest it to somebody. In the manga, the art's pretty good. More so at the end, though. I more commemorate the art at the end than I do the art at the beginning. The art at the beginning is fairly simplistic and not great, but towards the end, it's very refined, and you can tell how much project Isayama's made at that point. Respectable writing. I can respect the writing despite the ass pacing. I can still respect the writer despite how terrible the pacing is. I'm sure Isayama will fix that in their future works. But in the meantime, Attack on Titan serves as a pretty good outline as whatever else they make it, will look like. Despite having not seen the anime, I'm sure the anime has a lot of passion put into it. I heard that the animation is good, for the most part, and I've seen clips, and the animation doesn't look half bad. Despite having not seen it, I can pretty much say for the most part, I'm sure that it did the manga justice. So overall, I'd give it about a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, maybe an 8.5. It's good stuff. I would suggest it to somebody. 100%. And totally suggest it to you. Even though you've seen the review, and I've spoiled some pretty major plot points. So... And I did shit on it for like 10 minutes straight. Overall, I'd still suggest this to somebody. Like, if they haven't seen my video and I haven't spoiled anything to them, then yeah, I'd suggest it. But, whatever. On to the outro thing. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed. And thanks for watching part 2 of the Ultimate Comeback Consecution. But before I end the video, I wanted to mention that like in part 1 I mentioned that in the Ultimate Comeback Consecution I was going to put like the review segment is for a series that I'm thankful for, and the end segment is for someone or something that that got me through the break that I went on. So today's episode, I just wanted to mention that I'm thankful for I had like 5 planned. I already did Friends, and that's gonna be the longest one because the other 4 don't really need as much of a thank you. So the other thing that got me through the break was music. There you go. Music. Music helped me get through the break. It was awesome. I'm not going to thank music or anyone in specific, because anyone in specific that I could thank is not going to see this. Except maybe Will Wood. Will Wood got me through it. Will Wood's awesome. I'll leave a link to like... Actually, no, go look him up yourself. I'm not gonna baby you. Look him up yourself. He's fucking awesome. Alright? I'm just gonna mention Will Wood. Will Wood is the main thing when it came to music that got me through the break that I went on, so that was nice. So yeah. Music's pretty cool. I might do a video on my music taste, if you're interested, that is. If I don't see anyone who's interested in seeing my music taste, then, oh well. But, in the meantime, stay tuned for part 3 of the Ultimate Comeback Consecution. Still putting it on screen. But yeah. Thanks for watching. Love you all. This is olive oil soup, spilling on the floor. Leave! I'm just kidding. You can stay if you want. You can stay as long as you want, because the video is never going Oh, you thought the video was done? Just because I had a little thanks for watching thingy at the end? You thought I was done? You thought I was done with you, clowns? Fuck no. I'm not done with you. I'm not fucking done with you. So, how's life? Pretty cool, pretty cool, pretty cool. Are they gone? Okay, good. So a few people tuned out, probably because they thought this was just a little end bit, you know, like YouTubers do, where it's like, oh, it's a funny little clip. Well, I can ignore this because it's not important. It is important. It is important. You know why? Because I'm gonna leak a couple things for my webcomic. I asked Twitter, and they said, I held a vote, and they said, yeah, go ahead and leak a couple things. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to leak anything major, because, you know, I want you to read it. It's called marketing. No, in all seriousness, I don't want you people to read it, and, you know, because I'm very excited to get this out there. You know, it's my dream job to get comic books out there and to make comic books, and I'm very excited. I've been doing this since I was in, like, 5th grade. I would always make little comic books and stuff and show them to my friends and my family, and it was awesome. And now I'm officially writing one and getting it out there on the internet as a start. And I'm really sorry that it's been taking so long. It takes a lot of work. It's partially laziness, but it's more so that school is getting in the way. I am still in high school, so you have to keep that in mind. But you guys have been so patient, and I figured I may as well sate the flames by at least leaking a couple things. I'm going to put a couple of the characters on screen. So these are some of the characters. I'm not going to name any of them because I don't know which ones I put on screen. I'm just going to pick a few random ones. I'm not going to show you the main villain. You can find the main villain out when you read it. What else? As much as I want to leak the story, at the same time, I don't want to, because I want you guys to read it, and if I spoil major things, then you're not gonna fucking read it. I'm so damn excited. This is the main character. I probably didn't put him on screen. I don't know. This is the main character. Creatively named Steve. Isn't he cute? Look at him. Look at little shit. He's so cute, isn't he? Just kidding. He's a 7-foot-tall killing machine. You'll see what I mean by that in the manga. Not in the manga. In the fucking comic. And of course the title is The Adventures of Steve Halenrock. So that's the main character. It follows this guy. Yeah. Okay, I'll leak one thing about this story. He's a mercenary. That's all I'm going to tell you. You can theorize all you want about it, but I guarantee you more than half of your little theories are going to be wrong. I don't know. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited. I can't wait to put these guys onto paper. The first chapter is like halfway done. I just need to draw it digitally and then I'm good. I'm so sorry it's been taking so long. I wanted to release it back in August. I don't know what stopped me. I'm gonna be honest. As far as the pacing goes, originally I was gonna release it a chapter at a time, but I might release it as a volume at a time, which would make the pacing go faster. Well, it wouldn't quicken the pacing, but it would make the pacing appear to go faster. So, you know, you would be getting more content, but it would take longer. Because a volume is like 12 chapters. Or at least that's how I planned it out. I might shorten the volumes so that it takes less amount of time. I don't know. I'm going to hold a little vote on... No, I'm not going to hold a little vote. I'm going to make the decision for myself. We'll see. In the meantime, hope you guys are excited for future videos and, of course, for my webcomic. I'd put the cover on screen, but I don't have a cover for it. And if I did make a cover, it would look kind of boring, because I would be making it for this specific purpose. I'd rather put more work into the cover is what I'm trying to say. Whatever. I'm excited to get it out there. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for me to release this video. I can't wait. You guys are awesome. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram if you feel like it. I'm going to stop advertising my TikTok. If you want to follow my TikTok, go to the previous video. I put the little @ in the thing. I'm not putting it under this one, though. Because, you know, like, I seldom ever post on Instagram, let alone TikTok, so... Okay. Subscribe if you want. If you like my content, good for you. Subscribe if you feel like it. I don't like being a sellout, so I rarely ever say that. You can subscribe if you want. If you don't want, sounds like my problem. In the meantime, stay tuned for part 3. This is olive oil soup spilling on the floor.